Welcome to What's the Word on That Movie podcast play-by-play. On this episode, I am discussing the two characters Jay and Silent Bob. What's the Word on That Movie can be found on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube. Other platforms coming soon as well as video. Twitter handle is at What's the Word on 2. First letters of each word capitalized, and yes, that is the number 2. Instagram is What's the Word on That Movie, all lowercase, no spaces, and Snapchat is What's the Word on That Movie. What's has an apostrophe, and the first letter of each word is capitalized, and each word is spaced out or try Lawrence Media 1. All lowercase, no spacing, and yes, that is the number 1. YouTube is What's the Word on That Movie. Each word is spaced out with caps at the beginning of each word, and What's has the apostrophe S. Let's get to it. As we all wait for the Jay and Silent Bob reboot, I decided to take a look back on what for me is two of the most iconic characters to be placed in movies, Jay and Silent Bob. I began with Clerks and just worked my way through all the films in which they are part of in the View Askew universe. I originally planned to go in order of release, but decided to pay homage to Mallrats first, as it was my intro into the characters of Jay and Silent Bob as well as the View Askew universe. Mallrats released in 1995 and is about two guys, TS and Brody. After being dumped by their girlfriends, they journey to the mall to put an end to the dating game show TS's ex is participating in. They task our heroes, Jay and Silent Bob, to stop the show. No problem, as we find out, Jay and Silent Bob were already planning on bringing the stage down. We are introduced to the two characters as they are posted up in the mall. They are standing out front of a pet store. We get Jay, of course, dancing and following behind women, making obscene gestures, womanizing as only he can do. Then in the background, we have Silent Bob attempting to use the Force, reference to Star Wars. The two main characters of the film approach Jay and Silent Bob in order to give them a mission to ruin the live dating show the mall is putting on. What I would like to know is who writes Jay's lines. Like I heard Kevin Smith say, he has just kind of jotted down all the things Muse has said over the years and would throw them in the script. You the man, Muse. So as the two main characters ask Jay and Silent Bob to destroy the show so it can't go on, Jay lets them know that won't be a problem as they are already planning to do so. When Jay and Silent Bob set out on their mission, they say goodbye to the little kitties in the pet store. I wonder if Jay's nickname for Justice in Jay and Silent Bob is a call back to this very scene in Mallrats. We come back to Jay and Silent Bob discussing the blueprints of their plan. Jay is offering the narration, which is hilarious, by the way. Looking back, I know that Silent Bob is the true brains of any operation, and I pause to think, did Silent Bob come up with the plan only for Jay to narrate it to him and us being the audience? Meaning Silent Bob not only came up with the plan, but had to do all the heavy lifting. So in plan 1, the idea was to load a sock up with coins and clock the security guard in the head, laying him out so then they could pull the pin and cause the stage to fall. First plan fails as the kid Silent Bob shuns whilst reading the blueprint interferes, causing Silent Bob to miss his mark, landing him in the dressing room of the beautiful Joey Lauren Adams, who plays Gwen. Plan 2 was to swing from a rope above the security guard directly to the stage, pulling the pin, causing it to collapse. Second plan fails as they miss the target due to the trajectory being off, which lands Silent Bob in the dressing room once more, getting another glimpse at Gwen. We then get Jay running and hiding from the security guard as they join the two main characters. They let the guys know that they are going to have to take a pass on destroying the stage, as at their current pace, Silent Bob is going to wind up dead. We then see Jay and Silent Bob at the aid of Brody after he has been beaten and battered. We then get Jay and Silent Bob beating up the mall Easter Bunny to return the favor for the beating given to Brody. Later, Jay and Silent Bob are asked to help our two main characters escape the mall security. Jay whacks the lead security guard in the head with an aluminum bat, while Silent Bob takes out the two guards detaining Brody and TS. Jay and Silent Bob then run from the guards and pull off some Batman and Robin type escape. How about that? Jay and Silent Bob might be known for hanging around stores and not doing much, but they have the backs of the people around them. We then get our guys being approached by one of the main characters with the idea for another plan. We then get Jay carrying out the new game plan by handing out Snoochie Boochies to two of the contestants for the dating show. We then get Silent Bob working on trying to use the Force. We then see that Jay was successful in carrying out the plan. We then get Silent Bob tinkering with a video box behind stage. Later, Jay attempts to get this videotape to Silent Bob to place in the video player, but messes it up and gets it lodged in the stage. We then get Silent Bob believing in his Jedi mind trick and uses the Force to retrieve the videotape. We finally get words from Silent Bob as Jay is blown away at how Silent Bob was able to use the Jedi mind trick. Mallrats was my first introduction to Jay and Silent Bob as a kid, but I loved the characters and wanted to see more of them. Later we get just that in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. We end the movie with Jay and Silent Bob walking off into the sunset with a monkey, which I'm sure inspired the monkey business in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Next on my list is Clerks. Clerks was released in 1994 and is about two characters, Dante and Randall. Dante is hung up on his purpose in life and his relationships with women. Randall is free of such hang-ups and is all about having fun and really socking it back to the customers. Randall shows us the customer is not always right. We get Jay and Silent Bob standing outside the quick stop. Jay, of course, is Jay, homophobic womanizer, spouting off nonsense, but the way he does it, it's very reminiscent of the 90s, and hey, I love the 90s. We get Jay talking about having relations with his cousin and not caring about it. He then introduces Silent Bob's cousin to a girl who walked over and started talking to the guys. He then gets Bob's cousin to sing to her some of his music he is creating. The guys are still standing outside the store. We get Jay and Silent Bob standing out front of the store smoking a J and being themselves. We get Jay dancing as Silent Bob smokes a cigarette. Then a bit later we get a scene with Jay still dancing, attempting to hype Silent Bob up. Silent Bob bursts out the moves and gets down with his bad self. We then get Jay and Silent Bob with some customers pestering Randall. We get Jay and Silent Bob in the store talking to Dante. They're closing up shop for the night and buying some snacks before they head out to party. They're shoplifting. Jay is dropping some much needed wisdom on Dante. Silent Bob speaks for the first time, clarifying what Jay was trying to say. After Clerks, we have Chasing Amy. Chasing Amy was released in 1997 and is about a guy named Holden McNeil and his love for a lesbian girl named Alyssa Jones. In Chasing Amy, we get the first depictions of Jay and Silent Bob as the comic heroes, Blunt Man and Chronic. Jay and Silent Bob make an appearance to go over ideas with Holden for the characters Blunt Man and Chronic. Jay, as usual, has an unrealistic take on approaching women. Life really is so simple for Jay, like he is so straightforward with no filter. I love it. Silent Bob drops knowledge at this point in the movie. Jay calls him out for what he does by not speaking, then all of a sudden sends some small stuff so everyone thinks he's a genius or has something great to say. Silent Bob gives the reason for the name of the movie during his speech. Jay and Silent Bob didn't have much of a role in Chasing Amy as they had in Mallrats, but Jay was hilarious in his delivery and Silent Bob was able to set our main character Holden back on track. The next film on the list is Dogma. Dogma was released in 1999 and is about a woman named Bethany who is a descendant of Mary, Jesus' mother. Bethany is the last scion. Her job is to stop two fallen angels from getting back into heaven. The angels were kicked out of heaven a millennia ago for disobeying God, and through a loophole found in Catholicism, they have learned they can re-enter heaven. Problem with them returning home is it will prove God wrong, therefore wiping out all of existence. We get our beloved characters portrayed as prophets sent unbeknowingly by God to assist Bethany in her quest to stop two evil angels from getting back into heaven. Of course, after saving Bethany in the beginning of the movie, Jay in return asks for sex. Bethany happened to be leaving her job for the night, which is at an abortion clinic, when she was attacked. So she asked the guys if they were part of the picketers protesting the killing of babies. Jay says of course not, but that he figures abortion clinics are a really good place to meet loose women. Jay gets upset that after saving Bethany's life, she isn't going to sleep with him and Silent Bob. He mentions going back to Jersey and making a profit. Bethany remembers what she was told from the voice of God, that she will meet two prophets, one who talks a lot about nothing, and one, who is the silent type. We then get our guys with Bethany in the restaurant getting to know each other. Jay thinks her asking them out was for sex. She asks them to be her guide. She tells them what has been told to her. They are going to bounce, thinking she is a Jesus freak until she offers to pay. Of course, they agree. Then Jay turns it back around and asks if sex is going to be involved. Once again, Bethany says no. They embark on their journey using her car, but Jay wants to drive and thus blows the transmission as her car is a stick and Jay has never driven before, so he doesn't know the shift. Next day, still not having received a ride, Jay and Silent Bob are taking a bet on who Bethany sleeps with. She lets them know once more neither one of them is going to sleep with her. She is about to give up with these two. A man named Rufus falls from the sky. We learn he is the 13th apostle. not mentioned in the Bible because he was black. He informs our cast of heroes he'll be journeying with them to help them. We get our cast of heroes sitting at movies, having a meal, and learning about some backstory from Rufus. We found out that Jay masturbates more than anyone in the world, but he also does it while thinking about guys. Might be why he talks about getting with women so much and is a big homophobe. He's hiding something. We then get Jay and Silent Bob at a gentleman's club. They're having a tip-off with the guys across the stage. I guarantee this was Jay's idea to show Silent Bob that he isn't gay. We get Jay and Silent Bob hanging out with the guys. They outbid. Jay and Silent Bob get made part of those guys' gang. They're attacked and have to defend Bethany from a demon made of poop. Silent Bob makes a stand and sprays the demon in the face with some sort of fragrance. Cutscene. We get back to our two characters on a train chatting it up with the two evil angels. Jay and Silent Bob then fight the two angels to defend Bethany. Jay gets knocked out with one punch. Silent Bob throws the two angels from the train. He tells the guy who saw this all happen and says to him, "No ticket," then shakes his head with the look on his face that says, "Can you believe those guys got on the train with no ticket?" We get more backstory as Jay and Silent Bob sit and listen to the 13th Apostle. Next, we are in the woods. The voice of God makes his appearance. The voice of God transports the gang from the woods into a more desirable location. They're in a fancy establishment, and Jay and Silent Bob are getting stoned. They're trying to hash out a plan to defeat the angels. Jay drops some wisdom on the guys that to stop the two evil angels, why don't we just shut down the church they plan on entering to become human? Cutscene. Jay and Silent Bob and company are detained in a bar by the demons. Silent Bob is inspired by the muse to take action. Silent Bob whacks the demon with a golf club that has been blessed by a priest. In turn, the golf club destroys the demon. They arrive too late to stop the evil angels. Silent Bob jumps into action. Jay takes Bethany to a safe location, takes up the offering. Bethany said if the world was coming to an end, then maybe she would sleep with him. Jay happens to say enough to Bethany for her to realize what she needs to do and asks Jay to keep Barnabas busy as her and Silent Bob go to end this thing. Jay gets to meet God. God tells Jay to be quiet and kisses him. Jay passes out after the kiss. Silent Bob returns with Bethany's body. Silent Bob gets to meet God. Silent Bob and Jay are told if they let go of the loose language a bit, the apostle will put in a good word for them to get into heaven. Silent Bob speaks, saying thanks. It ends with the original three party sitting on the stoops of the church, Jay telling them how he got so excited from Bethany kissing him. Bethany lets them know she is pregnant. Is the baby Jay's? Is what I would like to know. I understand it is a gift from God as Bethany was barren and wanted a child, but I call it into question. Dogma gave our two beloved characters more of a role than previously given in Clerks, Mallrats, and Chasing Amy. And that concludes part 1 for Jay and Silent Bob. Follow up on Jay and Silent Bob part 2.